Alrighterbabber. Hello folks and welcome back to Pillars of Eternity. We have just headed into the temple and we are going to go and finish this puppy off. Let's head up that way, finish that off, come round this way, see what's going on. See what's going on. Now we cleared this bit. Did we clear this bit? I assume we did. Looks like we've been in there. Ah, yeah, we had a little sneak around, didn't we? Right. Let's have a look at this. Just some loot for the stash. Yeah. Anything up this way? Oh, hello. Oh, what you doing? This parchment is worn and tattered and the ink upon it is faded. Come back. Come back. In this time of hardship, must have just as much faith in ourselves. Okay. Let's head down this way. Get into sneaky mode.
I shall.
Bring the archer forward. Why is the archer at the front? No idea. Right, spiders. We can deal with spiders. Oh, we all need to eat. No, do we all need to eat? Some of us don't need to eat. We're all good. We're all good. Oh, don't go that far in. What are you doing? Oh, it's a bit late. It's a bit late. Move back. Run away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, little spider in the doorway. There we go. Start attacking. We've got... Ooh, nice. Move back. Positions. Start attacking. Oh, we got one to the side. What's going on here? Right. Bear. Engage. You run away. Good work. Nicely done. Right. Gabrielle. You can't reach him. Go for him. Meanwhile, you three take out the big one. I think we're looking good. Gabrielle can hit that with a flaming sword. Ooh, Ida needs some healing. Oh, let's get some healing down. Boom. Right. Fighter. Kendra can kick Ivory Spinner onto its back. What if they both did it? Would that be a bad thing? Dunno. We'll drop Kendra at some point. Spiders down. Durant's dropped some healing. Excellent. Right, Durant's carry on fighting.
Yeah.
Let's grab them all. Make sure they're all doing stuff. They are. Excellent. Target destroyed. And another one down. Beautiful. That's how it should be done. Calmly and with minimum of fuss.
I shall be discreet.
I still don't know why you're in the front row. Because you're in the front row for sneaky. Right. Spready outy. Okay, fair enough. Sneaky and spready outy. It's all under control. Is this clear? No. More spiders. Spider. Did we hit it? Don't know yet. Let's run away. Right, did we hit it? 18 pierce damage. Yes, hobbled for 10.5 seconds. We could move in here. There we go, there we go. Bring it in. Melee at the front. Beautiful, beautiful. Right. I think we can go spready outy in this room. See what else is up here. We'll be fine. Oh, look. Sneaky. Shooty.
I shall be discreet.
You be discreet. Get it hobbled. Excellent. 15 seconds of hobble. Can't go wrong with 15 seconds of hobbly nobbly. And nothing else is coming. Looks like it's on its own. Everyone forward. There we go. Beautiful. Right. Sneaky, sneaky in case of trappy, trappy. No, I said sneaky, sneaky in case of trappy, trappy. You be discreet.
Oh.
Shh. Quietly. Quiet, sneaky, sneaky. There are stairs here. Could be monsters at the top. No, we're... Oh, hello. The nearby crystal lights the cracked mosaic floor in shades of orange, and at certain angles the metallic symbol beneath your feet gleams gold. As you look on, the air shimmers as if with summer heat. The very dust and air seem to pull together until a thin, glowing mist appears before you. In its rippling gleam you sometimes think you can see the shape of a man, features rendered in broad strokes of air and smoke. Ooh, ooh, who are you? Your voice sparks movement, the spirit surges with a sudden blazing light, and in the next moment you are somewhere else, your mind assailed with a sudden wave of fear and noise. You are in the chapter hall. Priests and faithful have gathered in a great crowd, spilling into the hall. Bodies press against you, surging forward to listen. Your own grief is mirrored in the faces around you. Some of the initiates are weeping. Someone has snuffed the candles and the room is dark, save for the podium lit from behind. Two people stand before it, lit in silhouette. A man is shouting, voice so ragged with fear you cannot understand what he says, but the rhetoric stands calm, unmoved. Her strength will see you all through these dark times. You feel that hope is like a spark behind. You feel that hope be like a spark behind your ribs. Somewhere behind you, someone begins to sing. The spirit. I'm glad there was no song there, because you ain't getting no singing. The spirit tears itself from you with sudden dizzying force, and you find yourself back before the ruined altar, swaying. The spirit fades as suddenly as it appeared. Ooh, so some shit went down.
Sharp eyes and keen ears.
Something was going on. The face of this statue has had most of its features struck off, along with portions of its hands. Right, I think we're clear there. Let's do runny runny. Now, where next? This way? I reckon this way. I have been down here before, so I think we'll go this way. See what's this way. Right, huddle. I think we should huddle. Get in the doorway.
Yes.
Grab the archer. Now, do you three need to munch? You got no munchies. You got munchies.
Oh.
Munchy,
Indeed.
munchy. Oh, sneaky, sneaky.
Steady does it.
Shh, steady does it. What have we got? A Skulder whelp. They have poor reflex. Is that reflex? No, reflex is the foot. What's the head? Willpower. Low willpower. Okay. Right, this is deflection. This may not do anything. Right. Pause. Run back. Oh, we got one. We got one. Hobbled for 10.5 seconds. That's good. Let him through the doorway. And everyone pile on. Get him. You can't get there, can you? Come round this side. Can you fit in there? That'll do. That'll do. Oh, beautiful. Nice and simple. Alright, maybe a little too easy now. But good, good. At least we've got some form of strategy that seems to be working. So that's always a bonus. Searchy shelves. Searchy shelves. We have books. Monsters of the Deadfire Archipelago. The archipelago winds its way between the Great Eastern Ocean and the Restless Ocean. Hundreds of small islands in the midst of water. Few dare brave its treacherous rapids, and fewer still have returned to tell tale of their adventures through it. Travel between the two oceans is virtually impossible. Great storms hammer any ships foolhardy enough to attempt to navigate, and this alone should be enough to deter anyone from attempting the voyage, as untold ships have gone down, tossed against the rocks. The weather and treacherous rocks are only a precursor to the actual horror of the archipelago, the terrors of the deep. No one knows how many creatures stalk the oceans waiting for unsuspecting sailors to drift into their waters, but we do know of some. The barbed ravager, a giant shark that is known to ram passing vessels, trying to knock sailors off the deck and smash a hole in the hull. It has tremendous spines protruding from its side and back that are presumed to be poisonous. The largest sighted barbed ravager with survivors was estimated to be almost 30 feet long. Don't want to meet that in a dark alley in the middle of a windswept city. Winding serpent, smaller around than the ravager, but potentially longer. The winding serpent attacks in small packs, usually 3 to 8. They have long, sharp heads, somewhat reminiscent of a barracuda. Like the ravager, there's a song in there somewhere. Like the ravager, they repeatedly slam into the side of a ship, hoping to crack a hole in it or knock someone from the deck. They have also been known to swim to the depths and shoot up out of the ocean, landing on the deck, coiling and winding their way around, snapping up any crew they can before plunging back into the ocean. That's kind of scary. Leviathan. Imagine the largest whale you have ever seen. The Leviathan is at least 10 times that size. By the time a ship sees a Leviathan, it is already too late. As they rise from the depths, the water around them begins to spin and sink, creating a whirlpool. The Leviathan's body surrounds the hapless vessel, preventing escape, and as it goes down, the enormous mouth opens, pulling all aboard to their watery deaths. Pulpover. All the creatures you've read about in this book are nothing compared to the pulpover. Barely the size of a man, what they lack in size and strength they make up for in numbers and terrifying viciousness. Their lower halves are a mass of tentacles like an octopus or squid, but more numerous. The tentacles are long black whips with suction cups on the underside and small thorny barbs on the top. The sheer number of tentacles gives them frightening speed when walking on land, pulling themselves forward almost as fast as a running horse. That's kind of worrying. While they vaguely resemble a human from the waist up, any extended examination proves how wrong that assumption is. Long, stringy black hair falls from the top of their heads to cover a face taken directly from a nightmare. A wide, gaping mouth cuts across the bottom of its head from ear to ear, full of wicked dagger-like teeth. 2 large round eyes are sunken into its head, black as coal, shining with a malevolent fire. A small antenna protrudes from the middle of its forehead, extending in a small nodule that can glow with an eerie blue light. Isn't that there's a fisherman fish or a fishing fish or something with a big sharp pointy teeth and stuff like that? Oh, I can't remember what it's called. It's like a fish with a dangly thing with a light at the end that lures other fish and then it eats them. I don't know. Anyway, one can imagine a sailor on the deck of his ship at night looking out across the black water, blood freezing as countless lights appear beneath the surface, rising towards him as the pulpover swim upward. Because they seem to be more octopus than man, they can collapse in on themselves, fitting into spaces no person should be able to. The smallest crack in a hull, the slightest separation between boards offers them entrance. It is not unknown for them to slaughter an entire crew from hold up to deck by infiltrating the ship from underneath. Fortunately, they do not seem to spread too far outside of the archipelago, but there may come a day when pulpover attacks become commonplace. Yeah, we don't want to be meeting them little buggers, do we? Ooh. Yeah. Alright, let's have a little look in this one. Oh, we got a potion. We got a potion of Fleet Feet. Now, Fleet Feet, I do like to give to the wizard so he can sort of cast his spells without, he can run around a bit if needed. Well, we'll give it a try. We've got some gold or copper. We got another book. Admeth Hadret Part 2 Rebellion. Over the 5 years following his ascension to Gref, Admeth attempted to mend relations with the Glanfathans. Have we read this? And bring his land together with theirs. He enacted laws that restricted the taking of new slaves, allowing Glanfathans to buy their fellows out of bondage, and imposed a tax on slave ownership in order to promote the use of free labour. While there was some resistance to these new laws, The Fern Cunning's attention to Red Suras and Admeth's power, backed by the colonists, made it difficult for the Earls to truly resist what was happening. I think we've read this. Maybe I read it in another game. If I've read it, skip forward. Don't worry, you'll find it. In 2662 AI, the year of the 10th anniversary of the War of the Black Trees, Admeth brought about the end to slavery in the Durwood. He negotiated a series of treaties with the Glanfathans, wherein a timeline was established for the official emancipation of all remaining slaves. Each owner would receive compensation, neither land or money, based on the number of slaves freed. If they didn't comply, the slaves would be seized and their former masters would suffer a substantial fine. In return for this, the Glanfathans opened trade routes with the Durwood and allowed Durwoodians to live in and near areas that had their sacred ruins, but they are under no conditions to enter the ruins. As a final act of goodwill, Admeth freed Galvan Regd, saying he had suffered sufficiently for his actions. The Fur Conning, seeing he was completely out of control in his own Palatinate, I think I screwed that up last time and all, devised a plan to get the supply of ancient artifacts running again. He approached the Earls suffering under Admeth's rule and convinced them to hire agents to raid the ruins. Initially they did so in secret, but they eventually become sloppy, eventually being caught. This breach of the treaties incited Glanfathans again to acts of violence, while Admeth researched who was behind it. With the help of Glanfathan leaders, Admeth found evidence that pointed back to the Fernconning as the source of the raids. That was the beginning of the end for Adrian rule in the Durwood. Over the next 7 years, Admeth and the Fernconning manoeuvred around each other, playing political, economic and military games in order to gain the upper hand. In 2668 AI, Admeth declared that Durwood had enough. The Fernconning would no longer be recognised. The Durwood was now a free entity and would govern itself. This started the War of Defiance, which lasted 5 years. The end result of the war was freedom for the Durwood, and though Duke Hadrit would never live to see it come to a close, the people of Durwood consider him the founder of the country nevertheless. And there we go. Bit of info. Oh, more sneaky. And more searchy. Can't click that yet. Okay, right. Sneaky, shooty. Can we sneak in? Can we get in? I reckon we can make that. So long as no one else turns up. Oh, there's two. Should have thought about that. We've pulled up. We're looking good. Right. Bear and Kendra. I said Bear and Kendra. Take that one. Ida and Gabby. Take that one.
Yes.
That's it. That's perfect. Right, you lot. Take the wounded Scolder. Take him out quicker. Like that. That'll do perfect. Move around. I do quite like this 4-man melee. Couple of off tanks.
Sure.
Do quite like that. I think that's quite good. It seems to be working. Right. Sneaky. The flame reveals darkness or something. What do we have? To his grace I write to implore. The rest of this letter is crossed out in several places and then abandoned altogether. Debris. Oh, we got a sword. A one-handed sword. We're going two-handed. You don't want it. You might have it. Why have you got a warbow equipped? Have I been sending you into combat with a warbow? That would be silly, wouldn't it? And you want to do... You've got warbow equipped. What?
Yes.
No, you haven't.
Oh.
You've got a one-handed mace. That'll do, I think, because Ida is a saber man, isn't he? So he's going slash. You're going crush. What does the sword do? No. Don't do that. Do that. The sword does slash pierce, but Eder can't use the sword. He needs a saber because he gets his ruffian bonuses. Yes, that's fine. Okay, that's cool. No worries. Right, we are looking good. Anything else?
Right.
Ooh, searchy over here. Searchy over here. Oh, I've pressed the wrong button. We don't want to input a command. Searchy over here. These prayer scrolls are coated in a thick layer of grime and dust. Money. Can't go wrong with money. We see a desk. I spy a
Certainly.
desk. Might be things to search. Ooh, things to search. We see no traps. Let's do a quick save just before anything explodes in our face. Lockpicks required 2. We've got 8. Yeah, we can do that.
It's done.
We got a bow. We got a bow. And you can have the bow. Do you do anything? What sort of bow have you got? A war bow. I do prefer the war bow. You can be... Oh, get off. You can be stuffed in there. Right, next. There's bells. We know about... Well, I know about the bells. I don't know if I've talked about the bells. No, don't do that. 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 Stop the game. There we go. Stoppity stop stop. There we go. Do it that way. Yeah, we got some bells to ding-a-ling-a-ding-dong in a minute. The Great Western Stag. One day, Eothas was sitting on a wall, watching a cat play in the sun. A crystal hung in a nearby tree had fragmented a sunbeam and scattered small motes of light on the ground. They danced around the cat, sliding over him as he frantically batted at them. Ah, the days before laser pointers, eh? He spun in place, following one as it rushed past him, and leapt on it, trying to pin it down. Eothas smiled, amused at the animal's tenacity. The cat landed on a spot, placing his paws over it, only to watch it flit away again. Eothas watched the cat's tail twitch and slap at the ground, annoyed that his prey could not be pinned. "Why must you tease him?" a voice said from behind him, accompanied by the crunch of sandals on gravel. "I merely bring the dawn," Eothas responded. "I don't stoke the hunter's heart. That's your responsibility, isn't it?" "Ah, we're talking about gods." "True," said a second voice, "but neither do you quell it. If the hunter could not see his prey, would he still hunt?" "So philosophical, Hylia," Eothas said, and turned to greet the 2 gods that approached him. "Have you come to debate the parallel between sight and desire?" He gestured to the wall, inviting Hylia and Galawain to join him. They sat in silence, watching the cat, who continued to hunt the sun, fruitlessly swatting at another mote, and then rolling onto his back. "I have created the ultimate prey," Eothas said, finally breaking the silence. "It can be tracked, it can be followed, it can be seen, but it can never be caught." Galawain laughed lightly. "You don't agree, Galawain?" Eothas asked. "While it's true that your creation is elusive, it hardly can be considered the ultimate prey, because it can never be caught." He paused, his brow furrowed in thought. If that mote of light had substance, the hunter could subdue it. Otherwise, it's merely a dream, a truly fruitless endeavour. "All creatures spend their lives chasing fruitless endeavours," said Hylia. "It is the way of mortality." Galawain laughed again. "I could create a creature, a living creature of flesh and blood, that could never be caught. I make your dream a reality." Now it was Eothas' turn to laugh. "You propose turning a fruitless dream into a fruitless reality? How is this any better? A life spent in the pursuit of an attainable goal far exceeds any other." "But you just said no one could catch this creature. This is not attainable." Galawain smiled. "Humanity has surprised us before. Indeed, it could surprise us again. I will create a great white stag, and I will set it free in the world. It will have grace, resilience, and tenacity. It will exist solely to be pursued for all its days, and it will never be caught. It will serve to inspire the hunt for generations to come. All those who wish for glory will invoke my name. All those who hear its story will ask for my blessing in finding it." Hylia shook her head and threw Galawain a bemused look. "I do not believe this is possible, so I too make an offer. And they will catch the stag. I will bestow upon them its grace, resilience, and tenacity. Thrice blessed they will be. They will ask for my blessing on the hunt so they can obtain my boon." Galawain and Hylia took up arguing whose name would be invoked more when the hunt was on. Eothas sighed, a small smile playing at the edges of his mouth. He stood and looked to the sky. The sun had already started to hide itself behind the mountains. The cat, long ago tired of the stalking the moats, had fallen asleep beneath the tree. He turned and looked at the other gods, deep in debate, and sighed again. "I merely bring the dawn," he repeated as he made his way down the path. "It is up to you to see what I reveal." There's a moral in there somewhere, I suspect. Let's have a look at this. The Book of Verses. I'm not good with poetry. This small volume of verses and psalms is somewhat battered, suggesting it used to be carried on someone's person. The pages are dog-eared and worn, and the gold threads which form the title of the book have begun to fray. The book tends to open to a particular section where someone has marked a verse with a small blotch of ink. Eadnung, the bright star, spoke, and her voice was like a clarion cry, calling his soul forth. He knew her for the right hand of the shining god, and was afraid. "O wanderer, hear me," she spoke. "You are known to us, and your deeds put you far from salvation." And he wept, for he knew that his sins lay bare before this great illumination. Then Sargamus spoke, and his voice swept forth with the heat and force of the bright day's sun. "Weep not, for the child of light has forgiveness, even for you, if you will embrace him." Harmkey knelt before them then, and resolved to save himself, and asked what he must do. And Modigan spoke. Her voice was like the songbird's final hymn, bidding farewell to the day's light. "What darkness lies within you, you must cast into his light. Your sins will be burned from you, and until you are newly formed, reborn into his keeping." I should do that again, shouldn't I? I won't, but I should. So spoke Modegund, but Eadnung warned him, saying, "You have walked all these years into darkness, and must now return. You will find the path like treading fire, and at every step you will be tempted to turn away. But no harm will come to you if you keep your faith." All religious texts.
Indeed.
Texts of religiosity.
Huh?
Cool. Wow, we are not quite coming up to the end of the episode. Let's have a little look in this room. If we get into a fight, we'll probably overrun. So we'll have a little look-see.
Oh,
And then
certainly.
maybe prepare for next time. Yeah, look, there's some scolder whelps. So what we'll do is we'll pull back.
Yeah.
We'll move back a little bit out of the way. And we'll call the episode there. We won't get into that fight, and we'll jump straight into it next time. So until then, folks, bye-bye for now.